I had some requests, more than one, a few, from guys that wanted to know what they should eat. Now, from my perspective, I feel this has been beaten to death and covered again and again everywhere. But some guys still don't know, so what a newbie should eat. Well, I'm going to give you an idea of what I think pretty much a lot of you guys can eat. And I want to run the spectrum kind of sort of, but I want to keep it as short and sweet as possible. I don't want this to get too long, so I'm going to try to talk quickly because I don't want to bore anybody to death. I would say your best sources of protein for anybody, and this camera's giving me some problems here. I'm ready to, I'm ashamed to say, pick it up by the stand and just beat it against a tree outside, but I'll pick something else up tomorrow actually and upgrade, and then we'll see what's up. But best sources of protein in this order, I would say whey protein, whey isolate, not just whey protein. God help us not concentrate. Whey isolate is going to be your best bet. I'd say that's number one. Then a lot of people that are going to say, well, it's not real food because such and such says it's not real food. Whey fucking isolate is real food. It comes from real food. So if you take sweet potatoes and yams or whatever the fuck all else, blueberries, God knows what to throw in there just randomly, and you make some kind of powdered product out of this and you call it genuine food or real food, okay? Yeah, it's real food. Well, guess what? Whey isolate is real food, every bit as much. And actually, maybe even more, because the concentration, the amount of the whey isolate that's in a scoop of that shit would be the equivalent of a whole lot of the best, most nutritious part, as far as protein goes, of a lot of milk. It would take a lot of fucking milk, a lot, to give you a container of whey isolate that size. Okay, so it's real food. Milk is real food. All right, in case you didn't know. Oh, and by the way, milk is a complete protein. I saw in somebody's video where they pointed out specifically, now milk's not a complete protein. You know how elementary that is? Anybody that would say that, I couldn't believe any fucking thing else they said beyond that point. Anybody that doesn't know that, hey, you get a pass if it's not your thing and you're not you're a novice with nutrition and you could care less and you happen to make a statement like that, hey, whatever. But if you think that you know anything about nutrition, if you know any fucking thing about protein, the very first thing you would know is what a complete protein is. And milk is a complete protein. All right, so best protein choices as far as I'm concerned. This is assimilation and quality. What I mean by assimilation is, one, kind of like the PER table, how that was arrived at, protein efficiency ratio. The way that they did that is they took study groups of whatever critters they used. I don't know if it was people, fucking rats, or what the hell it was. But they fed, these different groups different protein sources exclusively. That source, particular source of protein for that group. And at the end of a certain period, with some exercise, they assessed, I guess they cut them up, and they assessed in a vivisection or whatever, so I'm sure it wasn't people, how much muscle gain that protein yielded. So it worked out with, 1 gram of this protein yielded how much muscle gain. 1 gram equals how much muscle gain. And so by that means they formulated this assimilation rated, more or less, chart of proteins and rated them in that fashion. So the top of the chart is going to represent the protein that has been demonstrated to yield the greatest lean muscle gain from its ingestion. And that is to say, if you eat 25 grams of several proteins on that chart, okay? The guy that had the 25 grams from the top, all other things being equal if they could, that his ingestion should yield more muscle gain, or will yield more muscle gain than those as they go on down the list. All right? You can Google all this, read all about it. PER, protein efficiency ratio. It's been around forever. Nobody just created it for bodybuilding or to sell supplements or whatever. It's been around forever. Anyway, first choice is going to be whey isolate. Whey isolate because it's off the fucking chart. When they came out with the chart, there was no whey isolate. They didn't have technology to do that yet. But they had whey, but not whey isolate. So whey isolate kind of is off the chart because the number one food on the chart before that was egg. Okay, so best protein, I'm going by the chart, and it seems to be what has worked for me over all these years. I'd say whey isolate's number one. Eggs, number two. Milk, number three. Fish, and then chicken, beef, on down the line, right? Chicken, poultry. So these are the protein sources you want to be looking at, in my opinion, unless you want to be a vegetarian. And if you want to be a vegetarian, then don't ask me about it, because eventually I'll probably become a vegetarian just for moral reasons, and because I do believe that animal products cause all kind of fucking havoc, like cancer, heart disease, almost exclusively cause all the heart disease that's not genetic related. That's what I've come to believe. So, yeah, I want to move away from all this, but it's what I know, it's all I know, and I have incorporated a lot more of plant-based nutrition into my diet daily, a lot more, hell of a lot more. But right now, the sources that I'm counting on for building muscle are animal source proteins. Sorry, but that's the reality of it. So now, if you can afford it, then I would say, you want to get you a jug of whey isolate. If you can get some kind of cold process, cold filter type of whey isolate, because heat damages protein molecules. Even cooking your fucking food damages the protein. So what you think you're getting isn't really what you're getting, but it's kind of like a scale that's broken, works, but it's off. If it's always off by the same amount every time you step on it, no matter what you weigh, it's still a useful tool, in some regard. And so it's the same way when you add up these grams, okay? You may total up that you think you're getting 200 grams of protein a day, all right? And in actuality, that shit ain't what's making it to the muscle. And actually, as you eat it, you're not even probably getting that because of the degradation of the protein, because of the denaturing of the protein, the processing of the shit that it's been through before it's gotten to you on the table. You cook it, the heat destroys up to 40% of it. So picture that. But don't overly concern yourself with that shit. Don't get hung up and stuck on the details. If you want to build some muscle, just build the fucking muscle, okay? Tried and true. Now, if you can afford it, get you a nice, jug of whey isolate. Try and stick to some kind of brand name that's reputable enough in your opinion that they have too much to lose to not meet label claim and get caught. Me, myself, I like Gasperi Nutrition. I like Labrada because they've just been around. And these guys are names in the industry, in the bodybuilding world. They're famous. They're legends. And so I believe that translates to integrity. And as much as they have too much to lose, there would be high expectation when they came out with these companies and produced these products. So I would say the least thing is they know what you need in protein and they're going to meet label claim just because there's just too much to lose in the reputation and their name that they've built over decades, to shortchange you. So I trust them. I go with that. There are other products I think are good. There are other brands I think are good. I wouldn't get the cheapest shit you can buy, okay? This stuff is kind of expensive to process, so, you expect you're going to pay a little something. So I would go with the whey isolate, and then, your eggs. The milk is, if you're kind of looking for an economical way to do it, milk's the way to go. Fish, I like salmon. I don't want any farm-raised shit. I like wild salmon because it's a calorically denser fish for me. One time I ate exclusively a whole bunch of white fish instead of salmon and some shit one time, dieting down. And it just seemed like it was more difficult to hold the muscle than what I could achieve if I used salmon instead. So that's why I like salmon. Now, you're going to have to look at yourself. If you're a really little guy trying to gain some weight, all right, you're naturally lean, skinny kid, okay, you can afford to eat a whole lot of more calorically dense food. The fat can be a little higher, than a guy that is already overweight, doesn't like it, and wants to lose some body fat also. as he, try to trim up and look a little bit better, but he's still concerned with retaining some muscle or maybe building a little muscle, then you want to watch what you're putting in your mouth. You maybe don't want to eat, the same, you definitely don't want to eat the same shit. Okay, like me right now, I'm cutting back on the carbs because I can't afford to keep eating them like I've been eating them. So they're out of the picture. You're going to eat carbs most likely. Carbs are very important. So carb sources, good sources, I would say oats, number one. In my opinion, best carb you can eat, oats. Number one carb is oats. Anything oat. Oatmeal I think is awesome. Oatmeal is excellent. Anything with oats. Next is going to be like rice. Your brown rice is going to be superior, but white rice is going to do. It'll work. The long grain rice, excellent choice. Sweet potatoes, yams, these kind of things, good choices. Bad carb choices. Pastas, noodles, all this white flour bullshit. Not a good choice at all. Crappy choice. But if you're on balls and knuckles, you're broke, right? What I mean by balls and knuckles, when we used to say that meant you're only getting by on balls and knuckles, okay? Enough said. Then you're going to have to eat a different way. You don't have the money to throw out there. I would say the cheapest way to do something like this is probably going to be the old gallon of milk a day thing. Now, people are going to decry it, say it's not a good idea, and blah, 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 blah. You want to build muscle, it'll build muscle. That's it. That's the beginning, that's the end. It'll build muscle. All right, I, many years, keeping it simple, jammed up or whatever, not really wanting to spend a lot of money on it, not knowing a lot about nutrition, not having, on the go or no time to prepare foods like I could today, then, I did the gallon of milk thing quite a bit. I would start with a gallon of milk in the morning, and that gallon of milk had to be gone by the time I laid my head on the pillow at night. Now, that gallon of milk, the totality of the amount of protein I get from that gallon of milk is what? Average gallon of milk, 127 grams of protein, 126, something like that for a gallon. But it's very slow digesting, hours and hours to digest that milk. So that being said, the muscle is going to be treated to sort of an IV drip of protein nonstop, just really slow release, extended, take a long time, and your body much prefers that rather than a couple lumps here and there and nothing in between, because those are still periods you're going to probably go catabolic. In other words, if I have like a whey isolate in the morning, I don't have anything for a few hours, then I have another whey isolate, not my best way to go, So milk, better choice, just because it's not going to get in there as quickly. It's not as high quality, but it's lasting. It'll last, and you'll get your carbs in there. You're going to get some other things too. Now, even in milk, there's a lot of different milks out there today, okay? This ain't the 1950s. If you're a really skinny guy, you don't have much money, get you a gallon of milk. Try, if you're that scrawny, you can go with whole milk. If you don't like whole milk and, you're not really scrawny or you don't want to fuck around with that much fat, then go with like a reduced fat milk. Go with like a 2% or, 1% or even a skim. All right? And just carry that gallon of milk around with you all day and drink that. That's about the cheapest way to go. Now, there are also today we have these other blends of milk, okay? Like this by Fairlife, which I love the shit. It comes in chocolate, which is awesome, but the chocolate's 2%. It's absolutely delicious. Now, this milk has no lactose in it. So you're lactose intolerant, here's your shit right here. This milk here, this is like a little more than a liter of milk. And this milk has like 86 grams of protein in it because it has 50% more protein than regular milk. Skim version like this, fat-free, ultra-filtered milk. It's good shit. No lactose, no added sugar. The chocolate's even really, really good. So I drink this shit. I like it. It makes it easy. It's a no-brainer. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm not trying to compete as a professional bodybuilder, okay? I'm a guy that did a pro show once. Didn't really care for it. Didn't really like it. Not a guy that really was meant to do that kind of thing just because I can't really commit enough, because I don't care enough about it. That's what it boils down to. So today, just what I got going now, milk's awesome good right now. So I'm drinking that milk. But I'm drinking the skim. I wasn't drinking the chocolate, now I'm drinking the skim because I'm cutting back on some of the calories, cutting back on the fat and the sugar. But if you can only drink, you can just get a gallon of regular milk, it's all you got money for, then that's where you go. Next thing you could do if you didn't have a lot of money, eggs are always good, anytime, right? Tuna fish, canned. Get you canned tuna fish in water, not oil. Now, there's a lot of sodium in there. So what I do is dump that tuna in a colander and rinse it out. Rinse it off. Put your hands in there, go through it, wash that shit off, try and get some of that sodium out. You can get a lot of it out that way, believe me. It doesn't even smell as fishy when you're done, and you won't taste all that sodium either. So you're still getting some sodium, I don't know how much, but you're not getting as much. So that's what I suggest. Wash that tuna off, rinse that shit off. Fresh tuna is really good if you can get, if you can get tuna steaks or whatever. Throw them on a grill or broil them, whatever you're going to do. It's just like cooking a piece of meat, and you eat just like a burger, just like a steak. It's really, really good if you've never had it. But like I said, balls and knuckles, you go with canned tuna fish. Cheapest way to do it. All right, chicken, another excellent choice. Same deal. You can get canned chicken breast. Looks like tuna fish. Okay, you can. Do I prefer that? No. But would I eat it? Fuck yeah. You can also go to the store if you're on a run. You get caught somewhere with no food. You can run in almost any grocery store and get a prepared chicken in a bag, already ready to go, and eat that. You can, if you have more time and you're more organized, you can get chicken in bulk, and you can, cook it. You can cut it up and cook it, grill it, whatever, broil it, bake it, in bulk, and then you can throw it in a Tupperware container. When you get your food together for the day to run out somewhere, you can grab a few pieces of that out of there, throw it in another container and roll out with it. As far as your carb choices, you can have, like I said, I like oatmeal. Now the oatmeal, you can get these little single servings that are in these little cups ready to go. You just add water, throw them in a microwave. I love them, think they're awesome. And they're like, 10 of them for $10. So that's a pretty decent deal. You spend $10, you got 10 servings of this shit ready to go. You just throw it in the microwave, heat it up, and you eat it. You don't have a microwave, fuck it. You put some water in there, you crack it open, you stir it up, you let it sit a little while, and you'll eat it anyway. It'll work. Rice, same way. Get you a rice cooker. Keep rice around. Pull the rice out of there, get your boil in a bag rice if you don't have a rice cooker or money for that. And you dump the rice in a container, and then you throw whatever protein you got on hand in there, stir it up, you got a meal. And that can be eggs. It could be, chicken that you got. You pull some meat off the chicken, throw that in there, or your breasts, or whatever you got cooked. It could be a can of tuna fish. If you're really broke and you're really disorganized and you still want to get big, it's been done. It will work. I've done it. You get your gallon of milk a day. Okay, once you get to the point you can get this gallon of milk down and you can still manage to eat something, then get you a case of fucking noodles. Get a case of those Ramen Noodles. All right, I'm not trying to tell you this is awesome nutrition. It's, white and rich flour crap, but you know what? It ain't a whole lot worse than just eating like macaroni that some people are trying to pass off in bodybuilding meals, or pasta, which is fucking awful, awful. Anything with white and rich flour, it's fucking the devil. So if you're going to go that route and you need to eat that shit, go ahead and eat it, but fuck it, just buy a case of fucking noodles. Well, they end up being like 25 cents or less for a bag of noodles. Take one or two of these things, crush them up, tear them open, dump them in a container, put some hot water in it. And where you may run into trouble is these flavor packets. Nothing but sodium. Nothing but sodium. So, flavor as you have to be able to get it down. You want to put both in there and salt out? Hey, go ahead, get your swole on. You want to just use one for 2 noodles? Hey, that works too. But all I'm telling you is, I'm not trying to sell this, this is an awesome, great way for you to eat, but it will suffice. It will build muscle. It will put the calories in. All right? So a really broke fucking guy, he could find tuna fish on sale, however many cans you can get for whatever price. You got that shit in the house. Dozen and a half of eggs, a few bucks. You got that shit in the house. What else is she? Milk. Gallon of milk in there a day. You may not be able to afford that gallon of milk a day. Maybe you'll drink half a gallon a day. Maybe you'll get a gallon split up in 2 days. All right? You do what you got to do. And then supplement that. that protein intake from half of that, make the rest up with these other sources, tuna fish. Look, if it has to be that way, if you're trying to do it, you don't have any money, you'll eat tuna fish every fucking day if that's what you got to do. It's still going to work. You're still going to get big. You're still going to gain muscle. So, case of ramen noodles, fucking tuna fish, cans of tuna fish, make the noodle through the tuna fish and stir it up. You got a pickle, you can afford a pickle, chop a pickle up in there. You got an onion, you can afford that, cut an onion up in there. Whatever, give it a little pizzazz. All right, you can afford a little cheese, some shredded cheese or something. Throw a bunch of that on there and let it melt on there while it's hot and stir it all up and eat that shit. All right, that's, keep it simple. I'm going to say keep it simple until it's time for you to step up your game. You're still going to get big. You're still going to gain muscle. You're going to put that same muscle on. If you were fucking hurting yourself spending money on your diet and you were taking all kind of time away from other things to prepare your food and, just like you think all these guys are doing, and you're going to break it up in all these containers and have it stockpiled in a fucking refrigerator and you're going to carry it with you throughout the day and all this other shit, kudos to you. Have I been there? Do I do it? Yeah, but I try to keep it very, very simple. Not eating cases of these noodles, and I'm not eating tons of cans of tuna fish. All right, but at my age, it'd be kind of pathetic if that's the best I could muster, right? But as a younger guy, you're fucking right. I got shit to do. I'm on a run. It isn't going to dominate my life putting together this food schedule. So my advice to you is if you want to hang in there and really make something happen, okay, have the patience to be able to build the muscle, learn to train properly, very important, get your rest, and keep your fucking food simple. Keep it simple, easy, and convenient. The more you do that, the longer you're going to be able to maintain this fucking thing. You could start out like gangbusters at the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, you're totally catabolic because you can't afford to keep eating like that. Or you can't, keep the resolve up to keep putting this food together. Does that mean you can't succeed? Nah, doesn't mean you can't succeed. Just simplify things. Sometimes you got to do that. So as a beginner, I would tell you keep it fucking simple. With the protein supplements, I love whey isolate. It's going to cost you something. You eat it as you can afford to eat it. You know what I mean? You got to make it last. You got to stretch it out. 1 shot a day, 2 shots a day, 1 scoop here, 1 scoop there, or 2 scoops here, whatever it takes, right? But you want to try and get some kind of protein in you every couple hours through your waking period. And you want to try and, I'm going to say that you want to shoot for a gram per pound of body weight for the body weight you want to be, but let's be realistic. If you're 150, 160 pounds, 140 pounds, 130 pounds, you may want to be 250 pounds. Hold up. Hold the horses there. Don't go out there and eat 250 grams of protein right now. You're wasting it. There's no need for all that. I would say, if you're that size and you're trying to be 200 pounds, it's more realistic. Then you want to get in, 200 grams a day, 180 grams a day if you're a 150 pound guy, whatever. You want to eat to where you want to be. All right? Now, you got to have the carbs, though. You can't do it all with just the protein. You got to have the carbs. You don't want to body be cutting into that protein reserve when it should be using it to repair tissue. Muscle can be made out of nothing but fucking protein. That's what it's made out of. There's nothing else you can build muscle. Muscle is made out of protein. You have to eat the protein. All right? Your body you have 20 different amino acids that make up protein. Your body can produce all but 8. 8 of them you can't make from other things in your body. 8. Those are considered essential aminos. So when a food has all 8 present at the same time, we consider that to be complete protein. That's going to be all your animal products. Milk. Any animal product is going to be a complete protein source. It's going to be any kind of meat, milk, tuna, fish, shrimp. Again, shrimp. High in a whole bunch of stuff that you may not be nuts about, but you need the protein, and they're like a lot of protein, 4 grams or something for an average size shrimp per shrimp. Shrimp's not the cheapest thing, so we're kind of getting off track there, right? Keep it cheap, keep it simple. Now, once you learn, you got some muscle going, eating's working for you, you know where you need to be as far as how much food, what you're eating. Then as you make more money and you say, yeah, I want this to consume more of my fucking life. All right, then you can get more elaborate with the food. okay? But don't jump the gun and go out there and think because I'm going to eat like a pro bodybuilder that you're a pro bodybuilder. You're fucking not, okay? And you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be one. So keep it simple. All you're going to do in that way, most people, the majority of most people, is burn out on it. You're going to burn out on it, and you're going to get up many days and say, fuck this, I don't feel like making all this food today. Or fuck this, I can't, you're going to forget something. You're not going to have it all with you. You're not going to be able to make the time. Okay, but you can make time to pretty much take a pull off a gallon of milk anytime, right? If you got it with you. If you get like low-fat milk, it won't even spoil like that. Whole milk is going to go bad more quickly. It's the fat in the milk that makes it spoil fast. Skim milk, I've carried that around all day, 90-degree weather. All day, and it didn't go bad. So, get warm, yeah. Does it taste bad? You'll get used to it. Anyway, that's what I would advise you to do. Also, I mean, if you, not trying to get elaborate, but I really do believe in a wide variety of food. I believe lots of vegetables is good. Lots of fruits are good. If you're on the run, again, if you're on the go and you can't get your vegetables in there, look, I like these V8 juices. I like them. The old school V8, right? This is even low sodium. The old school V8 is 100% vegetable juice. 100%. Yeah, it's got a lot of sugars in it. They're vegetables. And it's a lot of them. Okay, but this thing's got like 12 servings of fucking vegetables in it. This one's got like 6 servings of vegetables. 75% pure juice and 25% filtered water. So anyway, keep it simple. You got any more questions? This is an inadequate video for you or whatever, let me know. I'll try and do better.